Hello everybody, my name is Darcy, I'm from Melbourne, I'm 21, and this is a little review of Queen of Shadows by Sarah J Maas. So this book is the fourth book in the Throne of Glass series, and this review is chock-a-block with spoilers, so unless you want to be spoiled, just trot away. Quickly though, if you want to read the Throne of Glass series, I would recommend reading it in this order. Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Heir of Fire, then go back and read Assassin's Blade, and then read Queen of Shadows. This is the order that I read it in, and I would recommend reading it in that order to everyone. You definitely need to read Assassin's Blade before Queen of Shadows. If anything, it just makes your heart completely hurt because Sam... my opinion, Sam is the love of Celaena's life, and he died, so... I just want to say before beginning this review that it's not a completely positive one, so if you really loved Queen of Shadows, I completely respect that, and if you're looking for a video to express the positivity that you felt, this isn't the review for that. But if you're an open-minded person and want to, hear my perspective, then go ahead and listen. Onward to the review. I love Sarah's writing style. I really do. It's really fast-paced. She always keeps you interested. There's no dull moments while reading the book. And often she's really hilarious. And the plot twist, or twists I should say, that come together and that I was wondering about while reading the book come together at the end in a really wonderful way. For example, the king not being the main villain. I actually really like that. The world of magic in this series keeps on developing, which I really enjoy because I love magic. Although I have to admit that I wish there was a little bit more of a backstory with the magic. For example, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember any mentioning of shapeshifters before we found out Lysandra was one. It was just like, she's a shapeshifter. Shapeshifters exist? What's that about? I guess when that was revealed, at that point in the book, I was kind of like, this is a soap opera. I am reading a soap opera. It's like how Vampire Diaries was just incredible. The first 3 seasons, just my heart, yes. And then now that we're in series 6 or series 5, or season, I should say, it's like drama for the sake of drama. And that's what I felt Queen of Shadows was all about. First of all, I'm going to talk about things that I loved. Manon, she is a queen. Slay queen, slay queen, slay queen. Every single chapter told from her perspective and the witch's perspective, I absolutely loved. I've really loved her character development throughout this series. From when she was introduced in Heir of Fire, I immediately liked her. I completely saw the potential for her character to grow and change, and it's been awesome to read. I also really love Asterin. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correct, but I really loved her. I found her really interesting as well, and her relationship with Manon or Manon, I don't really know how to say her name. I found that interesting as well. Also, more often than not, I was a little bit disappointed when the witches chapters end because I enjoyed them so much. Things in this book never stopped happening. Things were always happening, and it kind of sucked because you didn't get a chance to reflect, but at the same time, one thing I love about this series, and I've said it before, is that it's always exciting. My heart's always pumping, whether it's with love or frustration. I have always been a fan of Chaol and Dorian and their friendship, and this book did not disappoint with their friendship. It hurt so good, When Chaol told Dorian that he loved him, dead. That scene when Saoirse got her head cut off, but it's just Dorian and Chaol saying goodbye, the feels. And the fact that Dorian thought that the king had killed Chaol, that was what brought him out of the demon state collar thing. I loved that. I love it when the message in a book is more about friendship than it is about romance. It wasn't Dorian's love for Saoirse. It wasn't the fact that Aelin was there being like, holy shit, Dorian, all these reasons why you should get out of the demon state. It was his friendship for Chaol. Not me, not Hermione, Chaol. I loved Lysandra in this book. I loved her. I'm gonna call it her reincarnation. Was really wonderful to kind of witness, and I'm really glad that Celaena/Aelin now has a really good female friend, and she is as tough as Celaena. She has gone through abuse in a really different way to Celaena, and I feel that actually that could have been acknowledged a bit more. And I've heard people talking about how awesome it is that Lysandra killed the way she killed Arobynn, but then more so, what about the fact that he slept with her that night and wasn't gentle apparently, and then she was just lying there after they'd had sex and just went, ah! like dead. So I really enjoyed Lysandra. She is one of the heroes for this book for me. The last 100 pages of this book were awesome. Awesome to read. And in my opinion, they kind of saved the book for me. It was so weird when Aileen and Dorian held hands and then the magic just was like everywhere. Ah! Dorian's magic is really powerful. He has raw magic and I kind of love that because I really like Dorian. But I'm a little bit scared it's going to be like X-Men where like Jean couldn't control her power and then she just becomes this other thing. So I hope Sarah J Maas doesn't go in that way and I really hope that Dorian learns to embrace his power. And I also think that he will be a wonderful king. Although I'm really concerned at the fact that the gang left him by himself in Ardalan. What? Little bit weird. Just spent a couple of months being trapped in a demon collar, but hey, see you guys later. Like, it was nice seeing you for those moments now that I'm back to my normal self, but I'll catch ya. See ya. So now I'm gonna get into what I didn't enjoy about this book, and it's a little bit long. How about the most obvious flaw in this book? The complete and utter destruction of Chaol. And no, I'm not talking about Chaol and Aileen no longer being romantically involved. It was my ship and the ship has sunk in a very dramatic way. It's almost like someone has pushed that ship to the bottom of the ocean. I'm talking about the fact that she now completely just dislikes him. And also, he completely dislikes her, which is so weird. Reading it, I felt like Sarah didn't even want to include Chaol in this book. He was a character that she did not enjoy anymore. Aileen was a cold-hearted bitch to Chaol, and there's no way of going around that. Yeah, in the end, their friendship is somewhat solved, but the fact that Aileen treated someone who she was once completely in love with, she treated him like shit, made me really not like Aileen in this book. Chaol and Aileen were such good friends, and there was this line where Aileen said, I can't bury another friend. But then she treats the people in her life in this book like crap. It's a really awful feeling when you're reading a book and you think, oh, no, your character would not do that. I once had this lovely connection with Selene. You know when you feel like characters are your mates and that you'd really get along with them? I did not feel this at all in this book, and it sucks to think when you're reading, hey, like, does this author know the characters like I know the characters, and that you don't have trust in an author? Also, Aileen is so hypocritical in this book, it's just ridiculous. It's like Sarah positions the reader to not like Chaol when actually Chaol brings up some really fair points. Page 220, Chaol confronts Selena about rescuing Aiden. You risked everything, multiple lives, to get out one man. Fair point. Chaol is also the only character that has faith that Dorian is still in there somehow, and I find it really arrogant and too assuming of Aileen to think, nah, he's gone, there's no way, there's absolutely no way. There's also blatant sentences in this book that just are aimed at putting Chaol down. Adian thinks of Chaol and his regards to Selena. Had the captain even flinched at the scars on her back, or merely examined them as though she was some prize animal? No, he kissed the scars, and he loved her, and he didn't mind that she had all those scars. It's like all the flaws that Chaol as a character has just been completely pushed in your face in this book, and it's really disappointing because whenever there's a character that starts the way Chaol did with this kind of blind ignorance and loyalty to someone who is evil, it's always interesting as a reader to read their development, and it's like it kind of was just pushed aside. He didn't really develop in this book, and that was really sad to kind of read about. Page 223, at least he couldn't hate himself any more than he already did. My poor heart! There's also subtle, not so subtle reminders of how horribly everyone's been treating him throughout the whole book. Page 424, it had been nice, so this is from Chaol's perspective, it had been nice to have one afternoon with no fighting, with no one hating him, to feel like he was part of their unit. The fact that he hasn't felt a sense of belonging and that he was a part of the change that has been happening and with everyone in this book really hurt. It is absolute bullshit that he has been disregarded in this book, but we all know why.
So Aileen and Rowan can get together.
The fact that a character I loved Chaol has been made so different just for the sake of two unlikable characters to get together. I adored Celaena. I thought she was incredible and inspiring, and Aileen is selfish. I loved the fact that we had a 300 or whatever, however old Rowan is, Fae warrior being really good friends with Aileen, and that it could just be a platonic relationship. Sorry, I forgot that that's not possible, is it? Because every male character has to be in love with Aileen at some point. Fair enough that Aileen was attracted to Rowan, but it does not make sense that Rowan is attracted to her. Rowan has the potential to be the most interesting character in the series, but what do we get from his perspective? Just the fact that he is so wanting Aileen, and that's all we get! If being on this planet for over 300 years just makes me want to have sex all the time, then screw immortality. Also, can we remember that time, that little cute time when Rowan said to Aileen, "You would have been better if you died 10 years ago. Next minute, let's have sex." And don't get me wrong, I like Rowan. I really liked him in Heir of Fire, and this book, he just frickin' annoyed me. In my opinion, Rowan and Aileen's relationship makes Edward and Bella's look healthy. Yes, I just said it, I said that. And that weird territorial thing that was going on between Aiden and Rowan did not make any sense to me, because Rowan should be completely above that and Aiden shouldn't care because he now has his cousin back. Aileen felt like a completely different character to Celaena, and it really annoyed me that she didn't acknowledge being Celaena had impacted her life. Arobynn found her, I think, when she was 8. And so from 8 years old to 17, which is a huge phase in all of our lives where we go through massive personal changes and personal growths, and for her to just dismiss that and be like, "No, I'm not Celaena, I'm not Celaena." How many times in the book did she snap, "I'm not Celaena, I'm not Celaena, I'm not Celaena"? Yes, you are. You are Celaena. You are Celaena because you are yourself. Just because Celaena is a name that you had that identity with doesn't mean that you didn't learn from being Celaena. And to the people who are like, it's so annoying that Chaol always questions Celaena, it's like he's taken a step back and just hates magic. I don't think it's about magic at all. Dorian has magic and Chaol completely trusts Dorian. Fair enough for Aileen not to be trusted. Chaol's probably thinking, Jesus, if you can switch from loving me to just like hating me, then how can we trust you to rule Terrasen? Fair point yet again, Chaol. Page 515, Rowan speaks in regards to Chaol. "How am I supposed to keep up with what he does? The boy used to serve the king." No, Chaol is not a boy. Chaol is a man. And Nezran, as cool of a character as she is, it's like, yes, girl power, she is just a filler for Chaol. It would have been really nice if Chaol had actually learnt to be single and happy with who he is before forming a relationship. He doesn't need a girl to make him happy. He can make himself happy. It doesn't make sense. It's like, in this book, I felt like every single character needed to have a love interest. It's like, this isn't fan fiction. I'm not reading this series so that every single character can just get together as much as possible. I will be continuing this series because I find The Witch is really interesting, and as I said before, Sarah's writing is always exciting and always makes me think. But at the same time, what I've loved reading about before Queen of Shadows was how the characters had a really interesting development. And now it feels like I don't even know half of the characters. They're doing weird things. Thank bejesus for Dorian, because he is the only one that I feel has stayed constant and made like a constant character development throughout this book series. But after reading Queen of Shadows, Manon is now my favourite character. I think that she's interesting. She's the most interesting. I feel so much better for having vented my feelings about this book. And don't get me wrong, I still really like this series, but I do feel a little bit let down. Cool. Thanks for watching. If you made it to the end, congratulations. Also, I just realised, you know that song, "Flames to dust, lovers to friends, why do all good things come to an end?" In regards to Chaol and Aileen. Have a lovely day.